Many founders are not familiar with the term growth equity. We actually don't start with we provide funding. When we talk to a founder, the discussion is what is your strategy and what's your ambitious goal and what's your extra ambitious goal and what's the extra ambitious goal. And if we find founders who have really big ambition to what we call as a concept to out-jump themselves or to jump higher than normal, this is where growth equity comes, because then we say, well, if this is your strategy, then growth equity and our skill set can help you get there. And the specifics on growth equity, which is very interesting for founders, is that we prefer minority stakes. We want the founder to keep the majority. And so she or he can be motivated and driven to essentially retain a lot of the value of their company. And so our approach is you lead the business, you're in charge, we're investing in you, but we're there to support you with capital and with other things and be really a partner for you. And that is at the core of growth equity, which is very different than the traditional buyout model where a fund will come on a majority and then try to call the shots very often, which sometimes leads also to conflicts, change of management and all the rest. So growth equity is really, you're in control, how can you go further and faster and how can we help you in that? The gap we're trying to bridge in Southeast Europe in funding is a big gap, and that was part of the reason why we created the fund and we were successful in fundraising. We invest tickets between 5 and 15 million. In the landscape, there's quite a lot of venture funds covering 0 to 3 million, it's primarily in the IT space. Deals above 15 million, there's quite a few buyout funds which are not regional, but they cover the region out of Poland, out of London, out of Germany, and they do majority deals. In the 5 to 15 minority, there's almost no one in the region. There's a few country-specific funds, and they can do both minority and majority, but there's no one really covering the region as such. And so we are uniquely positioned from that perspective to bridge the gap both in terms of size but also in geography, covering anything from Romania, Bulgaria, Serbia, Croatia and Slovenia. The way we measure impact is on a number of levels. One is very numerical, how much we invest, which is the simplest and straightforward, but then around it we measure what other economic effect we generate, how many new jobs are generated, how many new factories are built, for example, what additional revenue is generated and exports from our companies. So we look at those factors. And then and it's important that because we are not only in IT, a lot of our investments are not happening just in the capital, which is quite important because we try to push investment and economic development also outside of the capital cities in our countries, which is also important because that is lacking. And that's the direct financial impact we have. And then we think our investments have a very strong demonstration effect because we create local champions, and very often these are local champions which are not in IT. Because a lot of focus in unicorns and the next exciting software company, but they are great growth companies in real, call it real industries. And we'd like to showcase them as well, and that those companies also have very solid growth trajectories. They themselves can come up with new kind of digitally enabled models which are different, exciting, and this is part of our impact, is to show this type of growth.